Hello guys and welcome back. Hope you all are doing great. So in this video we are going to create a simple word quiz. So as you can see here, I have this question here, I have an image, I have these options here to select, and I have this answer options. So if I click on any word, you can see it is reflected here. So and I can also go back. So I'll just say cow, and if it is correct we move on to the next question. And let's say we will answer this wrong. So as you can see here, even we have to answer it correct, then only we can move forward. And let's say once we have answered all the question, the game is complete. So this is what we are going to create in our today's tutorial. All the startup project as well as the GitHub link is in the description. Check it, and before you start, just download the startup project because it has some important scripts as well as the entire flow of this game. So make sure you download it. This is a startup project. As you can see here, I have already created a simple UI. So in this canvas we have this gameplay panel, and in that panel we have this option holder in which we are going to have our question image. Then we have this answer holder. As you can see here, these blank answers. So this will be holding our characters which we select. Then we have this options holder, and these options have the option characters which we are going to select. Then we also have the two buttons. One is to reset the entire game or entire question, and another is to just reset the last word we have selected. We also have the script shuffle list. So if you guys are having any issues with this script shuffle list, then make sure you go to GitHub and download it. I have already uploaded the project to it. All the links of the startup project as well as the GitHub link will be in the description. So if you are facing any issue, just go and get them. So for our quiz game, we need a quiz manager. So in script, right click and create a new C# script, and let's call it quiz manager. Okay, so first we will make it an instance. So we'll just create a public static quiz manager instance, and the reason we need to make it an instance is because we want to access this script from another scripts without giving any reference. Next we need to store our words. So we have the list of answer word as well as this option words, so we need to store them. So for that, first we will create a new script, and let's create a new script called word data. So let's go to our prefab and let's add this script to it, and to answer word data also. Okay, so this word data script is on our answer word prefab, and its responsibility will be changing the text. So in this we have this simple text, word text. So word data will be changing the text. So for that we are going to get using unity engine.ui. Then we need a variable to store our word text. So we'll create a private text word text, and we want it to set the value from inspector, so we will make it a serialized field. Now we need a public character variable. We'll call this character value, and we need this character value so that when we assign any character to our word data, we can get it from this character value. And we will make it hide in inspector, as we don't want to change it from the inspector. Just remove the start and update as we don't need, and we also need a variable private button button object. As we know, if you go to our word prefab, we have this button, so we want a reference to this button, whereas in answer word prefab we don't have any button and we don't need it. So what we will do is we'll make it a private, and in awake we will get the reference. So if, or we'll just say button object is equal to get component button, and we also need to assign a method to it. So when we click on the button we call that method. So for that we will create a private void character selected method. So here first we will check if our button object is there, that means it is not null, only then we are going to assign. So button object dot on click dot add listener, and we are going to add a method called character selected. So whenever this button is clicked, we are calling this character selected method. We also need a method to set the character, so we'll create a public void set character, and we'll pass the character which will be a value. We are going to call this method from our quiz manager, that's why we are making it public. So we'll just set the value. So let's change here, instead of word text we will make it character text. So character text dot text is equal to value and plus this quotation. So the reason we are adding this is because this value is a character and this text is a string, so it will give us the error, so we are just adding this. Next we want to set our character value, so character value is equal to value. Okay, so let's go back to our quiz manager and let's go to our game. So if we go back, we need reference to all of this answer word prefab as well as this word prefab. So for that we will create a variables. So we'll create a private let's say word data array. Now the reason we are creating an array and not a list is because we know we are going to have fixed number of answer words as well as the option words, so that's why we are using this array. So for answer word we'll call this, and for our option, so let's copy this, and instead of answer we will name it option. Okay, and as we need to edit it from inspector, we'll make it a serialized field. Okay, let's create a new empty game object and we'll call this quiz manager. Okay, and just add the quiz manager on it, and you can see here we have these options. So just lock it here, and in this canvas we'll select all of them and just drag them to this answer word prefab, and they will get populated. And same here. And one thing guys, make sure that the sequence these things are assigned is same as the sequence they are here. So as you can see here, this word prefab is like on the third index of this option holder, so it should be on this third index only, because we are going to use these indexes in our future game. Okay, so now we have these options populated. So let's create one class which will be storing our question data. So we'll create a public class question data, and in our question data we'll have a image as well as a string answer. So public sprite I will call this question image, and we will have a public string answer, and let's make it system.serializable. So when we use this question data in our mono behavior, we can see it in our inspector. So we'll just create a private question data, and we'll call this question, and we'll make it a serialized field so that we can edit it from inspector. So let's go back. Okay, so now you can see we have this option here. So let's and one more thing, guys. So as you can see here, guys, we have this only 7 prefab letter prefab here. So you have to make sure that whatever answer value you have, the characters of that word should not exceed this 7 count, because if it is, then we are going to only populate 7 words and we won't be populating more than that. So make sure that you set this answer string with a word which have only 7, at the max 7 letters. So as you can see here, this answer word has 6 letters. So yeah, that's fine for us. Now let's try to populate the words here. So for that, so just remove these methods, and let's create a new method called private void set question. So for populating our words, we need to create a new array, and this will be a character array. So private char, and we'll call this char array, and this will be storing all the answers string character as well as the random characters which we are going to select, so that we can populate our options. And it will be equal to new character array, and count will be 12. And the reason the count is 12 is because if you go back to our game, you can see here this option holder, the child, if you count this, it is 12. So we know it is going to be 12, so that's why we are setting it to be 12. Now we need to add our answer characters to this character array. So for that we will go to for loop, and here we'll have question dot answer dot length, and we'll just add it. So character I is equal to question dot answer I, and we need also to add the extra word. So as you can know, in our answer the string only has 6 words, and in options we have like 12 words, so there are still 6 words remaining. So what we can do for that, so we need to add some random words to it. So for that we will create a for loop again. Instead of going from 0, we will go from answer length, and instead of here having length, we will just go to our this option word prefab. Okay, so this should not be option word prefab, it should be answer word array, and this should be option word array. Okay, and just dot length. Okay, now this will start from 6, as we have the string length of our answer is 6, and it will go till 12. And now we need to add some random characters to it. Now, so as you can know, we have these ASIC tables for our characters. So here you can see here, for A, capital A, we have a integer 65, and for B it is 66, for C it is 67, as we can go for Z it is 90. So we can use this number range to randomly create any character. So what we are going to do is, we are just going to get this character array I, which is equal to our unity engine dot random dot range, and our range will be from 65 to 91. And the reason it is from 65 is because our character capital A starts from 65 and it goes till 90. And in our random dot range, our range starts from the starting word, that is 65, and it goes till this limit -1. So it will be range between 65 and 90. And now we are getting the error because it is an int. We need to cast it as a character, and it will return the character which is correspond to that particular int value. And now we need to shuffle our words. So character array is equal to shuffle list dot shuffle list item. So here we are going to pass our character, and our character array dot to list dot to array. Let's fix this bug. So just add using system.link. So as you can see here, I'm using the shuffle list. So if you are guys getting this issue here, just go to the GitHub. The link is in the description, and just download this script to your game, or you can just get the starter project and start from that. So here we are shuffling the character type elements. So we are just changing this character array to a list because this method takes the list and it returns a list, a shuffled list, and once it returns a shuffled list, we are changing it to array back. Okay, so now we have our character array ready. We just need to add character to our option words. So we are going to create a for loop, and this will be our character array dot we'll just use our option words array dot length. So we'll just set our option words array our I will call our set character method, and we are going to set our character I. So if you remember, in our word data we have this method set character, which we are calling it here. And let's create a void start method, and we'll just call this thing here. Let's go back. So I think we have lost all the references as we changed the name. So again guys, just add the references to here. Okay. Next let's try and check if our thing works. Okay, we are getting some issue here. Okay, maybe we have forgot to assign the character variable. So let's go to our word prefab. So let's remove this lock and go to word prefab. And yes, we have forgot to add. So just in word prefab, drag this word text to this character text, and in answer word prefab also you need to do the same. Okay, now let's try it again. Okay guys, as you can see here, we are getting these values. Okay, one thing if you have noticed is in our quiz manager we have this answer where A is capital and all others are small, and you are seeing the same thing here. A is capital and all others are small. So we want to maintain the consistency. We want to make sure that even if the string of answer is in small letters, our option letter will be in capital. So for that, what we can do is, here we are adding this value of answer characters to our character array. So here only we can set it to upper. So for that, just call character dot to upper, and we are done. So let's go back and let's try it again. So now all of them are upper. So next thing is, we want to make sure that when we click on our options button, we store or we reflect that character to our answer character. So for that we will create a new method called public void selected option. Now in this selected option, this method will be called from our word data. We are going to pass a word data. So word data. So here, if we go to this character selected method, as we know, this method will be called by the button. We'll just call our quiz manager dot instance dot selected option, and we are going to pass this. Okay, now we have the information about the word. So we have to populate the answer word array values. So we'll just create an answer word value. Now we need a reference to know which answer. So we want to know which one of these answer character is we are populating. So for that we are going to create a new private int current answer index, and it will start from 0. So in this set question we will by default set it 0, so whenever we change the question it is set back to 0. So we'll just create a current answer index and we'll just add this. So answer word array at the index of current answer index, and we will set word, so dot set character, and our character is our word data dot character value. This is the first thing, and second thing is we want to just deactivate that option so the player cannot click on it again. So we have this word data dot game object dot set active to or false. So let's see and try it again. One thing guys we missed, so we created a variable instance but we didn't really created it. So we'll create a void awake method, and in that we just check if instance is equal to null, then instance is equal to this. So if instance is not there, it will be this. Else if else instance is there, we will just destroy this game object. That's it. Okay, guys, we have, I don't know, this is not populated before we had, anyway, just populate this. I don't know why it is getting issue. And one more thing guys, once we have answered, we need to increase the index. So just increase the index, that's it. I hope this time it doesn't give any bug. Okay, as you can see here guys, on selection we are able to answer. This is the issue we are getting just because we no more have, so the max we have 7 elements and we didn't keep a check for that. So for that we can just check. So if current answer index is greater than or equal to our answer word array dot length, so if it is greater then we'll just return. We don't do anything like this and it will not give us any error. Now one more thing we have to do is, okay, so now we have this answer word prefab and the count is 7, and right now it is showing all of them and we don't want that. So let's say we have a word whose string length is 3, so we don't want to show 7, we want to show only 3. So for that what we can do is we will create a new method called private void reset question, and the reason I'm calling this reset question because this method is going to contain more stuff. So right now we are just going to reset our answer word array. So we'll go to a for loop answer word array dot length, and we are going to activate all of them and set their word. So we'll just answer word array I dot game object dot set active to true. So we'll activate all of them, then we'll set their text. So I dot set character, and it will be this underscore by default. Okay, So now all of them are set. What we can do is go to again for loop. So instead of starting I from 0, we are going to start from this question answer dot length. The range will be from our answer string length to our answers word array dot length, and we are going to set them to false. Let's remove this, we don't need it. Reset question, just copy this, and we need to add this method to our set question. Let's try now. Okay, as you can see here, we have only 6 prefabs. 7th one is deactivated, and we can now answer. Okay, we also need to set the image. So setting an image is very easy. So for that we will create a new private image. So first we need to use using Unity engine.ui, and we will create a private image variable called this question image, and we will make it a serialized field. And here we set our question image. So question image dot sprite is equal to question dot question image, and let's try now. So right now our question image is empty. I have few art which I will be using. So let's add this apple here, and instead of having this answer as answer, we will call this apple. We also need to assign this question image to it. And if we go and click on play, you can see here we have this image here is, so you can just apple. So now once we have answered correct, we need to change our question or set that yeah, we have answered correct. So for that, what we will do is this in select option, because whenever we answer anything, this select option is called. So in this select option we are going to check for something. So we will just check if our current answer index of, so if only if our current answer index is greater than or equal to our question dot answer dot length. If it is greater than or equal to this length, only then we are going to check for whether it is correct or not. So for that we'll just create a new bool variable. So we'll create a private bool correct answer, and by default it will be true. Okay, we'll just copy this. So by default it is set to true. Now we are going to check if it is whether the answer we have given is correct or not. So for that we are going to create a for loop, and our for loop is of length answer length, and then we'll check. So if our character, so we have to check that all the characters of our answer as well as our this answer word array are same, then only our correct answer will be true, else we will set it to false. Okay, so for here we are going to check if these two are not equal, then we are going to set our correct answer to false, and we are going to break from this loop, and down here we are going to check if our correct answer is true, then we are going to, let's say, debug that we have answered correct. Else if correct answer is false, we have not answered correct. Now as you can see here, this thing will give us an error, because let's say one of this character is small and one of its character is upper letter, so it is going to give us an error. So to solve this issue, we are going to convert both of them to upper. So we will just call char dot to upper, and we are going to do the same for here also. And now this thing will make sure that both of the characters are upper characters. Okay guys, so this is a very simple mistake, and then because I just copy and pasted the line here, so as you can see here, this index, it should be I and not current answer index. So make sure when we copy any this thing and paste it, we make the changes. So now let's try it again. So again, as you can see here, we have this correct answer. So right now these buttons are not working. Okay. Assign the methods to our button. So let's say create a new method which will just reset the last word. So public void reset last word. Now to reset the last word, so it is very easy. So we'll just call answer word array dot answer word array, and our index will be our current answer index dot set character. We are going to set character to our underscore. Before we set this, we need to reduce it by 1. Question dot answer dot length, and this should solve our issue. Okay, so now we have to reset our last one. So if we click on play, and let's add some words here. So if I click on this back button, we are resetting our answer value, but we are not reactivating these words here. So for that, we have to make sure we remember the respective index. So as you can see here, they are at their respective index. So it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to remember which index word we have used from this option holder. So for that, we will be creating a new private list, and we will call this integer, and this name is selected word index. Okay, in awake we'll just create a new, so it's equal to new list, and it is very important else we will get errors. Now in our set question, before we set any question, we just need to just clear it so that all questions data will not be there. So now whenever we reset our last word, we need to reactivate the respective option word we have used. So for that, we will just create a if condition. So if selected word index is greater than 0, so we have to make sure we don't go below the 0 dot count. We'll just get a int index is equal to selected word index, and we need to get the last one. So selected word index dot count -1. So as we are going to reset the last word, we are going to get the last index only. We will go to our options word array dot index and just set activate. So dot game object dot set active to true, and you also need to remove the int value at that at this index. So just call this, we will call this dot remove at, and instead of square brackets we are going to use round brackets. We also need to populate. So for that, in our select option method, so whenever we select any option, we have to set our index here. So what we can do is we will call this select word index dot add, and we will add our word data dot transform dot sibling get sibling index. Okay, so this is a list of int, and now we need to know sibling index basically. So if you go back to our Unity, so we have this option holder and this word prefab are its child. So the sibling index of this word prefab is 0, for this it is 1, 2, like that, and we need to know the sibling index for that corresponding this. Let's play and I will show it how it works. So as you can see here, just keep eye on this. Okay, so we have this selected word index and the size is 0. So if I click on A, it will goes 1, and the value at this index 0 is 8. So you can see here this 8 word is deactivated. Now if I click on this this button, you see it gets to 0, that is it is removed, and it took the index which was at that int at that index basically, which was 8, and it just activated. So I think you got to flow how it is working. So it is just saving the index of these words here. So at the element 0 the index is 7, so this 7th element. For 1 it is this. So if I go back, you can see it's correctly resetting the words. Okay, so now we have this word reset as well. Now we need to create a scriptable object which will store our questions. So we'll just create a new C# script and we'll call this quiz data scriptable, and we are going to use create asset menu. Our file name will be equal to question data. Our menu name will be equal to questions data. Our order will be equal to 1. And instead of inheriting from mono behavior, we'll call scriptable object. Instead of this, we are going to, so as you can see here we have this quiz data, so we are going to use the list of this. So public list of quiz data, and we'll call this quiz data, or we'll just call these questions, that's it. And in quiz manager, instead of just using this question data, we'll call this quiz data scriptable, and instead of question we'll call this questions. And right now it is giving us the error because it has a list. So for that we are going to create a new int, a private int current question index, so just to keep track of which question we are asking. Copy this, and instead of this question we'll just call this questions dot questions. Okay guys, so what we can do is, right now both of them are questions. So instead of this questions, we'll just reset these questions to question data. Okay, just copy this and just add it here like this in your question data. Okay, so now this should solve your things. Now setting the question, we need to increase our question data. So once we have set our question and everything is done, we'll just increase our question data by 1. And one more thing, so once we have answered correct, we need to move on to the next question. So for that we'll just call invoke, and I will call this set question method, which will be after 0.5 seconds. Before we call this invoke, we have to check whether we have questions. So first we'll check like if our current question index is less than our questions data dot questions dot length, or it is a count. So if it is less than the count, then only we can call this invoke method, else we cannot call it. And we will have one more public enum, and we'll call this game status, and it will have playing and next. And make it, we don't want to make it serialized anyway. We're not going to use it. We'll create a private game status, and by default it will be game status dot playing. So whenever we are setting a new question, after we increase our question index, we'll just set it to playing. And when we have selected the option, so once we have like answered it correct, we need to set it to next. And the reason we are doing this here is because we don't want to select our option once our game status is next. That means we are going to a next question. So here we will just say if our game status is equal to next, or our current answer index is greater than our answer length, we are going to return. So guys, let's try again. So now we are having this field to set our scriptable object. So to create a scriptable object is very easy. Right click, create. Let's create a quiz data, and this is called quiz data. Let's give it 3, and let me add this apple, banana, here. Okay, let's add this quiz data here. Click on play. I can see here is apple, so apple. And so let's do one thing guys. So we just create a private string answer for. So maybe this is causing the issue. So when we set our question here, we just set our answer word is equal to our questions data dot questions current question index dot answer. Okay, I'll just copy this and select this quiz data question, control F, and let's answer word, done. And here answer. Okay, let's call this here after we have set everything. Okay guys, so by using this string instead of using this entire thing in our game, we are able to solve that issue. So when we set our question, we are just setting our answer word. We are using the reset question once we have set the default thing. So let's say APPLE, and yeah, we are going to next question, but we are not resetting it here. So one thing we forgot, so we are calling this a reset question method, so we also need to reset our options button for loop. It will be our options word array dot length. Copy this, okay, and instead of false we set it to true. Let's try. So as you can see here guys, our game is working. So now we only have, like, let's go to normal mode. Okay, so here as you can see we only have 3, so we only show 3. So let's once we are shown 3, we need to just show some game mode or something, whatever we want to show. So we'll just create a serialized field private game object game over something. So here in else dot selective true, and if you guys want to like set some score or something, so let me just create a new private int score which will be equal to 0, and here in our correct answer we're just going to tag score plus equals 50. Just set it here, and I will just call this here. So if you want to add some score thing, you can just add it here, and if you want to set game over, so just you can do it here. So once all the questions are answered, we will call this game over. So let's try. I forgot to set this game over. So game over is something here. game complete panel. So it is nothing, just a simple text which shows the game complete. That's it. Okay, so score is 0 right now. You can see it. Let's say, okay, our score is increased to 50. Now it's 100. Okay, now it's 150, and we just show the game complete. So let's say, guys, you want to have multiple types of quizzes. Right click and create a new quiz data, animal data, and instead of this, let's call this fruit data. So in animal data, let's have some 3 animals, and so instead of, let's say, you don't want fruit data, now you want animal data, you can just replace it here and you can just call it. So as you can see here, we have now cow, so COW cow. Okay, so guys, this is how you can create. So instead of just swapping this quiz data, you can create a menu where you click on some button, a specific quiz type button, and just you get that specific quiz data type. So that you can do it here. Okay guys, so I think that is enough for this tutorial. The entire project is on GitHub, so you can just go to the GitHub and get this project. The link will be in the description, and I hope you enjoyed and learned something new. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. So thank you.